David, it is fitting if you would allow, as a relative of our recently passed Congressman Bill Pascrell, who is always an integral part of these ceremonies, if we can hold a moment of silence in recognition and honor of his life and contributions to our city, to the great state of New Jersey, and to our nation. Thank you. We're going to begin with also those who are already standing with a brief prayer, just to put this ceremony, as we typically do, in the hands of the Most High. Bow your heads. I've just learned I will be doing that prayer. Blessed are you, O Lord, King of the universe, creator of heaven and earth. We thank you for this day, first and foremost, because each and every one of us woke up. If that alone was the only thing we could identify, it would be reason enough to express gratitude and give you glory. We thank you for the life that you have provided to each of us, for all of your provisions, for the fact that we have roofs over our head, food to eat, and families to enjoy with. We thank you for our city, for our state, and for our nation. Today we come together to honor our wonderful and amazing Italian communities. We thank you for their contributions, their hard work, their faith, their unity, and all that they do to lift our city, get our state, our nation, and this world up. We pray for all those who could not make it today, for all those who are not with us any longer and are with you. We thank you for the lives that you gave them, which contributed so greatly to the development and progress of so many of our communities. We have a special blessing, Lord, that we ask from you for our honorees and their families. We come together to put this ceremony in your hands, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. After the acknowledgements, dignitaries, we're going to pass over the program to our Commissioner, Vice President of the Board of Education, Mary Ann Capersi. I'm not sure if we're going to stay standing or should we tell them they can sit down? Okay, go to your remarks.
You can have a seat.
You have one.
If you have one. And if you don't have one, there's plenty of seats to sit in. Good morning, everyone. Que bella giornata. Today we gather to celebrate Italian American Heritage Month, a time to honor the rich culture, tradition, and service that Italian Americans have woven into the fabric of our nation and our community. As we reflect on our heritage, we are reminded that our roots are deeply intertwined with a spirit of resilience and determination. Our ancestors, or parents, came to these shores bringing with them not only their culinary delights, but also their unwavering commitment to hard work and community. They faced challenges with grace, paving the way for future generations to thrive. Italian Americans have made significant contributions across various fields, including arts, sciences, politics, and beyond. Yet, what often goes unrecognized is the profound sense of service that has characterized our community. During this month of October, let us honor those who came before us by engaging in acts of service within our communities. In doing so, we celebrate our heritage not just in words, but through actions that reflect the love and pride we have for our Italian roots. Let us also take this opportunity to pass on our traditions to the next generation. Teach them about our history, our language, and the values that define us. Encourage them to embrace their identity with pride, reminding them that their heritage is a source of strength and inspiration. As we celebrate, let us do so with passion. Passion for our culture, passion for service, and passion for each other. Together we can continue to build a legacy that honors our past while shaping a brighter future. And I want to thank our Mayor, Lora, for always having this celebration in honor of all the Italian Americans that are in this city and beyond. So thank you, Mayor Lora, for your contributions here. And grazie a tutti per essere venuti a festeggiare con noi. Grazie.
want to thank our Commissioner of the Board of Education, Mary Ann Capersi, for her leadership and all of her hard work in our community, and for standing strong and celebrating Italian heritage and ensuring that all communities feel welcomed in our city. As a representative, not just in the City of Passaic for the Board of Education, she also represents the County of Passaic. She was the Vice President of the Board of Education Commission for the County of Passaic. I believe we also have Commissioner of the Board of Education, Christina Stratz, who is with us. Thank you, just saw her come in. Thank you for being with us. As well as Mary Ann was an educator in Hudson County, in Jersey City, and now she is transitioning into a new career in real estate. So if you're looking for an apartment, a home, or any property, please reach out to Mary Ann Capersi.
Lora?
Yes,
No,
here, New Jersey, Florida, and abroad. That's the way she wrote it for me. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm ad-libbing that part. But I'm going to take a point of privilege just to express my deep gratitude both to Dave and Mary Ann. When I first became mayor, I was adamant that I wanted to do flag raisings for all of our communities. We have an amazing and remarkable and diverse community, but I've always said it's impossible to appreciate your present, but to forge forward into the future unless you can truly get a grasp of your history. And the Italian community has significantly contributed to the development of our city, as you heard from Commissioner Capersi. So we were so excited. We met at Lexington Diner. I still remember that meeting. I remember what I ate. It was a wonderful meal at the time, but we gave the bill to Dave. That's what made it so wonderful. But we had a conversation of starting a tradition, or bringing back a tradition of honoring our remarkable and amazing Italian communities, and ensuring that we can acknowledge significant leaders who have represented our community and have been exemplary in their representation and demonstration of Italian heritage and the very best of the values and principles of the community. So with that stated, we're going to have some acknowledgments and highlights of two wonderful and amazing leaders in our city. We're going to begin first with our Deputy Chief of Police, Louis Gentile, who we're going to ask. I know he came with his family. We're going to ask to stay right there for a minute while we read your bio, and then we'll bring you up. Allow me to read this into the record. As Deputy Chief, it's fitting that we have sirens as we read yours. We didn't coordinate that, but it worked out. Hopefully everything is okay, Deputy Chief. In recognition of Deputy Chief Louis Gentile during Italian American Heritage Month. Whereas Deputy Chief Louis Gentile, a proud son of Italian immigrants, has deep roots in Passaic that trace back to the early 1900s. He was born and raised in the city alongside his sister, Grace Boehner, who dedicated her life to teaching in the Passaic School District. And whereas growing up in Passaic, he attended the city's public schools and participated in local youth sports camps and recreational programs, which laid the foundation for his lifelong commitment to the community. In January of 1995, Deputy Chief Gentile began his distinguished career in law enforcement with the City of Passaic, amassing 30 years of experience, 20 of which were in leadership roles. And whereas Deputy Chief Gentile has consistently demonstrated unwavering dedication to the residents of Passaic by working closely with city government, business owners, and community organizations to foster collaboration, address concerns, and uphold public safety. As a proud supporter of local events and initiatives, his commitment to public service reflects the values of Italian American pride, always striving to contribute meaningfully to the community he grew up in. And whereas his academic achievements include a Master's of Administrative Science from Fairleigh Dickinson University, a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Seton Hall University, and certifications in public management and leadership, Deputy Chief Gentile also earned a Certified Public Manager's Certificate from Rutgers University and is certified as a police instructor by the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety. And whereas Deputy Chief Gentile has been recognized for his dedication with multiple awards, including the Bobby Thomas Community Service Award, the J.R. Russo Humanitarian Award, the Legacy Award for the city's 150th anniversary, and several congressional recognitions. And whereas in addition to his law enforcement career, He has contributed to education as an adjunct professor at the Passaic County Community College and as an instructor for law enforcement trainees and school staff, and helped implement dual enrollment criminal justice courses for Passaic High School students. And whereas Deputy Chief Gentile is a devoted husband to Arabella Gentile, a former teacher in Passaic and a proud father to Louis James Gentile, who is attending Clemson University, and Savannah Ellen Gentile, who is here right now. I think she's here. Is she here? Let's give her a round of applause, because she loves when I put her on the spot. She always expresses herself. I thank you. Thank the mayor for putting me on the spot. She doesn't use those exact words. His deep faith is reflected in his active involvement in his parish, where he serves as a faith formation teacher and was awarded the St. Peter's Canisius Catechal Service Award from the Patterson Diocese. And whereas in recognition of his dedicated service and his outstanding contributions to the city of Passaic, it is fitting to recognize Deputy Chief Louis Gentile during this Italian American Heritage Month. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, Mayor of the City of Passaic, Hector Lora, along with the Council and our Commissioner of the Board of Education, Mary Ann Caperci, and all of Unico, do hereby honor Deputy Chief Louis Gentile during Italian American Heritage Month for his decades of service to the City of Passaic, his leadership in law enforcement, his commitment to education and the community, his engagement and his embodiment of the values of Italian American heritage. All of this honor despite being a big pain to Veronica Rodriguez in his own... Veronica, did you write that in there? Veronica works as an assistant in the chief's office, so we add that line. I don't think she heard it. Deputy Chief Gentile, please come in. Thank you very much. Come on up.
Italian heritage begins with God. Psalms 86:12. I give thanks to you, O Lord my God. With my whole heart, I will glorify your name forever. I want to thank Mayor Lora. Your ongoing support is much appreciated. Your leadership gives a pathway for community outreach and assistance. I could not be a community figure without your vision and your approach, Mayor. When I told the mayor, when he mentioned to me about this award, I said, well, my last name is pronounced Gentile. The mayor looked at me and goes, stop. No one's ever called you that. Stop. His exact words. But yeah, Gentile, then went to Gentile, and then when you're many generations down the road, it turns into Gentile. The mayor also told me, hey, look, I'm going to give you half a certificate because you're not all Italian, right? So I just want to make sure I'm not going to go out and get a DNA test, because if it's less than half, he may take 3/4 of the certificate away. So it's an honor to be thought of at the same time as Paul Digaetano. Paul Digaetano was a household name for me growing up. I want to thank our police that are here, Captain Castellan, Captain Rivera, Captain Guzman. This police department does not run without that backbone of our staff, and it comes from the captains. That's where it starts. Thank you for coming out and showing support. For the officers that are here, the community is not safe without you, what you do in the community. So thank you for being out here. Greg Tenderenda, Jonice, I see Du back here, always giving me a lot of support through my career, and I appreciate it. Harry Gill, we started from the application process together. Where are you, Harry? Rode to the police academy together every day, worked on the streets and protected out and looked out for each other every day. All love, much appreciated. Of course, my daughter was mentioned, Savannah, she's here. My son, he's not here today, he's out in college. And my wife, she should be on her way, but she's not Italian, she's another culture. And sometimes that culture's a little late, sometimes. I'm just saying. So what gets instilled with you from an Italian upbringing? Importance of family, being selfless, expressing love, not being perfect in love, but expressing love and loving deeply. You have to hustle in life. You have to make moves. Even if you fail, fall forward and keep making moves. Taking care of one another. Make sure other people are okay, not just yourself. Spiritually, God is greater than I. God is of most importance. Loud is okay. expressions of how you feel is okay. Yelling, maybe even swearing at each other, it's just banter, and that's okay. That's what I've learned from my Italian culture. Quiet, not so good. Lack of expression, not so good. Not sharing your true self, very bad. Including my family, many Italians came to America for something better. Italians were not glorified in America. The derogatory word for Italians was Guinea. My dad often used to say, and I won't say the word, but it starts with the word F, he'd say, F the Guinea. I know, F the Guinea, right? I understand that. Because the meaning, Guinea gets the short end of the stick. So it wasn't always just given to Italians. It was hard work to overcome stereotypes and shortcomings. Some family history. My great-grandfather came from Milan. My great-grandmother came from Naples. What's in a name? My grandfather's name is Louis. Father's name is Louis. My name is Louis. Guess what my son's name is? Louis, right? Here you go. I'm very happy this summer my son got to go out to Italy. He visited Milan, Florence, and many other cities. My Thanksgivings are spent with the Italian side of my family. All I can say is the day starts with pasta, there's some wine, there's a lot of love, and there's a lot of talk. I learned a lot from that side of my family. My friend Freddie's here, like a brother to me. Freddie recently lost his father, Roger. Roger meant a lot to me and taught me a lot in life. Roger was acknowledged here by the mayor at one of the flag raisings. Freddie and I share a deep bond of Italian fathers. The loud personalities, a little extreme in nature, is that safe to say? Tough as nails. The depths of love though, the abundance of being there for other people and putting others above oneself. They taught us very much about life and how to approach people. Our fathers were very, very real. What you saw is what you got. I remember speaking to Freddie a few years ago, and we're both kind of struggling to understand how people could be so deceiving. I shared with Freddie it's so hard for us because we were raised by fathers that poured out exactly who you were. They wore themselves on their sleeves. Sue, all that I just expressed about Italians you are. You have always given me love, support, unconditionally. You did this because you love my mother. And like all Italians, when you love, you will protect and love no matter what. People in the city are very aware. They're gonna say something about Gentile, don't say it around Suey. Rossi, see Rossi here? There he is, Rossi. You knew my pops, you knew my mom, you knew my grandmother. You have tons of history with Sue and many other Italian people in Passaic. The story goes, Sue and my mom had a lot to do with Vinny even getting into politics. The thing with your father was he remembered that. Like an Italian, he always looked out for people that looked out for him. Your dad was an influence in my life. I still remember, no matter how high he rose, he'd go in the backyard, pick his figs from the fig tree, and hand walk them over to my family. I always remember that. Last words I'll say from Frank Sinatra. What is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is not. To say the things he truly feels and not the words of one who kneels. That means a lot for Italians. Final words, God, family, protective, love, hustle, selfless. That's what I learned from my Italian culture. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Deputy Chief Gentile. So much of the success of our city over the years have been a direct result of his dedication. He's often the last to leave in the city, whether it's been 2 o'clock in the morning, Saturdays, Sundays, parades, responding, picking up the phone, helping the community at different events, supporting every single group. Deputy Chief Gentile, you're a true example of what a leader is. You have been one of my closest friends and someone who I care deeply about. Thank you for all that you do in our city and how you represent culture, community, and law enforcement. Thank you so very much. distinct pleasure of reading some of his bio. I will admit I cannot put all of his accomplishments in one proclamation because I was told we have to finish today and we can't extend into Sunday. People have church. I say this because this is a remarkable individual and leader who has contributed beyond what my words could possibly describe to the development of our city, to helping businesses prosper and grow in the state of New Jersey. I will personally share that when I first ran for office, I had the privilege of speaking with him personally and receiving advice, direction, and guidance. I remember when St. Anthony's Church and the ceiling came down, having seen him there personally, working with the parishioners, serving on the board to ensure that the history of the parish, that the work in that mission would not be lost. I have again, I'll reiterate the honor of reading the bio in recognition of Paul Digaetano during Italian American Heritage Month. Whereas Paul, the proud son of Passaic, grew up in the city as the son of Italian immigrants who instilled in him the values of hard work and community. After his father's passing, Paul selflessly set aside his dreams of becoming a Navy pilot to take over the family's business. Started with J. Digaetano and Sons Incorporated Construction and Development. He also replaced his father as an auxiliary police officer in Passaic. And whereas Paul began his career in public service by successfully running for the Passaic City Council in 1981, serving until 1996, and as City Council President from 1991 to 1993. He later served with distinction in the New Jersey General Assembly, representing the 36th Legislative District from 1986 to 1987, and again from 1992 to 2006, holding key leadership positions as Majority Leader from 1996 to 2001, and Republican Leader from 2002 to 2003. His work as chairman of the 36th Legislative District brought significant improvements to New Jersey public policy. Paul, if I may, and you'll correct me, I believe you are the only representative out of the city of Passaic to have held the office of Majority Leader. That wasn't added, but I think I recall that in one of our conversations. Whereas during his legislative career, Paul championed key initiatives including the HMO right to sue legislation, mandatory health insurance coverage for women's cervical cancer tests, and more than 50 tax cuts aimed at relieving the financial burden on New Jersey's working poor. He also worked on legislation protecting children from sexual predators, toughening rape penalties, and reforming binding arbitration. And whereas Paul Digaetano sponsored landmark initiatives such as the Senior Gold Prescription Discount Program, the creation of New Jersey's first cord blood resource center, and the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2001. His commitment to public health and safety also led him to secure funding for enhanced newborn testing equipment and author the Brownfields Redevelopment Act, which we have benefited from with our Panaso property, which is now developed on Jefferson Street. Whereas Paul served on multiple commissions, including the Assembly Task Force on Adolescent Violence, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Commission, the Legislative Service Commission, and the New Jersey Commission on Science and Technology, contributing his expertise to policies that benefited the state. And whereas Paul Digaetano exemplifies the enduring values of Italian American heritage through his dedication to his community, state, and country, and he has demonstrated by his military service in the U.S. Naval Reserves, legislative achievements, and commitment to helping others, and whereas he has sponsored holiday toy drives to the Italian American Club of Lyndhurst to bring joy to little children and underprivileged youth in northern New Jersey, and served as the past president of the Patterson Diocese Laity Council and the St. Anthony Roman Catholic Church Council, reflecting his commitment to faith, community, and service. Whereas Paul Digaetano's unwavering commitment to public service and community redevelopment reflects the true spirit of Italian American heritage, his efforts to improve the lives of others through legislative achievements and charitable initiatives inspire future generations to carry on his legacy of giving back. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, Mayor Hector C. Lora, along with our Passaic City Council, our Commissioner of the Board of Education, Marianne Caperci, Unico, do hereby honor Paul during Italian American Heritage Month for his years of dedicated public service and significant contributions to this community and to the revitalization of our city. And whereas he has represented different areas throughout the state of New Jersey, let it also be resolved and added that as mayor of the city of Passaic, I declare him now and always a son of Passaic. We are proud of you and we thank you for all of your work. Sir, please come up and receive your award.
Good morning. I didn't remember all of that, Mayor, but thank you. Let me begin by thanking you, Mayor, City Council, Board of Education, St. Clifton Unico for putting this together. I want to begin by congratulating my fellow honoree Deputy Chief Louis Gentile. Anybody that doesn't know Italian, the word gentile in Italian means kind. It means compassionate. If you want to compliment somebody's demeanor, that's what you say. Come gentile. And you could see it in his every word. You know that I didn't pick the order of this program. I would have never chosen to speak after him. But I will try to make it up. This place is very special to me. I've stood in this area, this place, many times in the past, never as an honoree, been at the microphone. This place, as you heard 43 years ago, was where I was first sworn into the City Council. What almost everybody here doesn't know is this place, 42 years ago, is where I proposed to Yvonne, who's here. Now, she may not think that's such a great memory, but in any event, she said yes. That's how our family began. I want to recognize my paternal grandparents and appreciate the fact that they chose this city as their residents from Italy. Nicoletta Paterno and Paolo Lombardi, whom I'm named after. They chose Passaic and they started their family here. I'd like to recognize my mom and dad. As you heard, Dad's gone a long time. But they also chose Passaic to start their family and raise my older brother, my two younger sisters, one of whom is here, Marianne. The other who's not able to be with us, Mom, is not able to be with us either. But at any rate, I thank them for starting their family here and starting the business here, which you heard mentioned a little while ago, which I'm proud to say continues to this day. I'm fortunate to have Yvonne here, and also one of our three sons, our oldest. Michael's here? Okay. Paul's not able to be here, but our oldest, Joseph, is here with his lovely wife, Shannon, who is the newest addition to our family. Well, I shouldn't say that because the newest addition to our family is in her hands, 18-month-old, our grandson, Joseph. Paul's not able to be here. He's in South Jersey. But I see Dr. Mike in the back, and he just got off a shift down at the emergency room in Robert Wood Johnson. I'm very happy to have started our family here. And I'm very happy that my sons are also sons of the City of Passaic. And I thank all of the friends who have come here, and the men and women in uniform. What you probably don't know is, in the late 70s, I was in uniform. Not just the auxiliary police, but the Special Park Police for 2 years. And it was the disbanding of the Special Park Police in 1979 that spurred my interest to run for City Council in 1981. But why are we here today? I'm one of the honorees, and I think a Deputy Chief would agree that we are here not on our own behalf. But we're here on behalf of all the Italians and Italian Americans who are such a great part of this city, a great part of the history of this city, and continue to support this city. Deputy Chief probably doesn't like to hear this, but I will tell you, I know him, or at least I know of him, his entire life. His mom, Ellen Hook, who died very young, was a very big part of this city and this building. And unfortunately, she was taken from us 25 years ago. She was a very special person. And that's how Lewis, Deputy Chief Gentile, came to speak as he did before you. And I know that that beautiful smiling face is looking down with great pride on you today, Deputy Chief. But we are here on what was originally labeled Columbus Day, the 12th. Now it's celebrated on Monday. But it really is a celebration of Italians and Italian Americans. And if you don't know the history of this holiday, you should look it up. Because in 1892, there was the largest lynching ever in the history of the United States of 11 innocent Italians. 11 innocent Italians. And in 1892, President Harrison decided that he needed to do something. I don't say to make up for that, but in the wake of that. And so in 1892, he declared the first Columbus Day on October the 12th, and it wasn't Christopher Columbus's birthday. It was the day he apparently landed in what is now the Americas. Christopher Columbus, who has been the subject of great controversy of late, unfortunately, he was a great explorer. Now think about this. He came in 1492, 530 years ago. Yet, there are those who would apply today's standards and today's laws and today's practices to 530 years ago. In the United States, we don't do that. We don't even do that for 100 years ago. Not for anybody. Yet, there are those who look to take away this holiday, take down Christopher Columbus statue. What it really is an attack on Italians and Italian Americans. Because they don't propose any replacement Italian American for Christopher Columbus. But there are many. Another great explorer, Amerigo Vespucci, who actually landed in the Americas. He's recognized for that. He's a great cartographer as well as explorer. And he drew the first map of what he called the New World. And Columbus was very much a part of designating this, North and South America, as Americas, the Americas, in his honor. That's Amerigo Vespucci. Enrico Fermi, another Italian, came to this country, made his home here. He's a great physicist. And as someone who still has a penchant for engineering, he is well known and recognized for creating the first nuclear reactor. And we could go on and on all morning, all day. We could go on and on for months and months talking about the Italians and Italian Americans who have contributed to this country and this city. In the city of Passaic, I could name you people who served in just about every capacity: police, fire, school board, high school principals, athletic directors, city clerk, councilmen, mayors, county commissioners, state legislators, congressmen. And yes, folks, we have a favorite son of Passaic who still sits as a federal judge. Proud to recognize the city of Passaic as the place of his birth, growing up, and graduated Passaic High School. And just as a little light note, I don't know if any of you listen to radio, but there's a gentleman on the radio. He's an actor. He's a great radio personality, Joe Piscopo, really Joe Piscopo. But when you listen to Joe talk, he'll always speak about being born in the city of Passaic. He wasn't raised here. He lived not far from here, but he still talks about being born here, and he's very proud of it. Now, just to close on Columbus, 530 years ago, just a fact that many people don't recognize. man of vision and courage, probably like none others, except those who followed him. His ship, the flagship of his 3-ship fleet, was no bigger than from where I'm standing to across the street. And the other 2 ships were half that size. Now, could you imagine traveling across the Atlantic Ocean in ships those size? And we didn't have the modern technology. They didn't know where they were headed. They didn't know what was the end of the earth. Many people thought that somewhere at the end of the water they would fall off the earth, but they didn't. Those were great Italian explorers. And for their exploration, we're here, and the greatest country in the history of this world was founded. Now, there's so many Italian Americans to talk about, but I'm not going to continue on that, who are connected to the City of Passaic. But they're a great part of building this city and its rich history. Why did they come here? They came here, yes, they came looking for a better way of life, as many do today. But they also came to make this city and this country better and stronger for their children, grandchildren, and all their descendants. This country and this city was built by many different immigrants. And while maybe the nationalities have changed over the last several decades, the city and this country is still made up of hard-working people who came here to make a better life for themselves, but yes, to improve their new-found country, residence, and city. And while the Italian American population in the City of Passaic may have decreased somewhat over the years, I thank you, Mayor, Council, Board of Education, and Passaic Clifton Unico for keeping the memory of lives. For all those who call the City of Passaic home. And in closing, Mayor, no matter where I live, and no matter when somebody asks me, Paul, where are you from? I still say, the City of Passaic. I thank you for remembering and recognize all those sons and daughters of Passaic, Mayor, who have Italian ancestry. And I wish each of you a wonderful day celebrating that Italian American heritage. And in closing, I just want to say you heard some of the legislation that I sponsored. There are 2 pieces that come to mind today. One is the designation of the City of Passaic as an urban enterprise zone some 30 years ago. And that still benefits the City of Passaic. And the other was almost the last piece of legislation that I had passed as the majority leader in the Assembly, and that is the creation of the Italian American Heritage Commission, which was originally designated the Commission on Italians and Americans of Italian Heritage. And the purpose of that commission, which still exists today in the state government, was to develop a curriculum to educate all those who wish to learn about the contribution of Italians and Italian Americans. On behalf of all those Italians and Italian Americans who came before me, Mayor, and who will come long after me, I thank you, the City Council, the Board of Education, Passaic Clifton Unico, and I am proud to accept this honor on their behalf.
Thank you so very much. We're extremely excited to share that we have this ceremony recorded. It will play on our channels for our youth. I believe it was a wonderful opportunity for education and history, because we learned so much, especially considering perspective. In the City of Passaic, we still have our Christopher Columbus Park at number 11 school and the statue and flag at 3rd Ward Memorial Park. Interestingly enough, with Deputy Chief Gentile, and I thank you, Paul, for sharing the meaning of that name, Gentile, and what it means in terms of the positive significance. I just want to share that I have often met people who are right-handed named Lefty as a nickname, or short people called Tall, not to say that. I have to take a few jabs at him. If not, he will mess with me later on. But I did want to share one thing. Deputy Chief Gentile spoke about Frank Sinatra, something that I learned recently. I would encourage everyone to look up. You know that Frank Sinatra, who is from Jersey, would refuse to play in clubs that denied access to individuals of African American descent, he would literally walk out and say, "I'm not playing." That's an interesting thing. I was reading some of his bio in life during the civil rights movement, during times of great turmoil around the nation, when fellow artists would be told they couldn't play or couldn't participate or couldn't eat somewhere, he would go, "Then I'm not playing." That's an interesting thing, and I think some people might want to look that up. So I thought that was one note, and I appreciate Paul sharing with us that we should look up history and have it in context and always get perspective, because as I've shared before, all of our communities, the Italian community shares so much in common with all immigrant communities, have contributed greatly to this city and to this nation. But I want to take this opportunity now to call up Dave DiArco to say some words on behalf of Unico of Passaic and Clifton. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending. I've been president of this chapter for 17 years, and that is 1/3 of my life. So you people who are astute at mathematics, please don't judge me. I've had a rough life. I want to thank the mayor, the council. City of Passaic is very blessed to not only have a great mayor, but a mayor who is a great human being. And I want to thank him for coming to us when he wanted to do this. We didn't have to go to him. And Commissioner Percy, who's also one of our members, I can't say enough about her. We lost one of our members this year, Congressman Pascrell. I promise you, whatever I say here will be one smidgen of what he would have said up here. However, he would have been one to point out that if you look at any ethnicity, you can pull up disparaging things about it. We look at the good in the Italian American community in our heritage during this month. We look at what I've always gotten out of my heritage, the 3 F's I call it: my faith, my family, and my friends. And we could look at the sculptors and the painters, the Michelangelos and the Galileos and the Da Vinci's, the Bernini's who painted the Rotunda and the Capitol of the United States. There's so many good things. It's not just about Nona's lasagna and popetta that we're going to go have tomorrow afternoon, although the food and wine is quite spectacular. But there's so many good things, and I'm sure that there's a lot of ethnicities here too, that you hear things about your race, your culture that bother you, and that's not something that should be the only thing that's reflected on. Okay, everybody's, we all watch the movies, the shows, I even watch them. I shouldn't say that. I might get kicked out of Unico now. But with that, I'd also like to thank my Passaic Clifton membership, or part of it, that's here today. I don't usually speak at this. I was a little compelled to. Let me start with the deputy chief. 15 plus years ago, he actually was a recipient of the Passaic Clifton Unico Michael N. Corradino Service Above Self Award at Il Tulipano over in Cedar Grove. And I assure you that when I introduced him, I said, I believe you were a lieutenant at the time. I believe I said Lieutenant Louis Gentile. Actually, I know I did. So congratulations. It's good to be up here with you again. And Paul Digaetano, how many times I've sat next to him talking. He was such a good friend of my grandfather, Joe DiArco, the Genci family, the Gascione family, talking about Joe Herculo, all those conversations we've had. He always brings me to tears. A very, very special man who's done a lot of wonderful things. And I always love when he reflects on his time in politics and how people didn't hate each other back then. We just disagreed, and that was it. That was okay. It was okay to have your own opinion. So whatever your opinions are, and a lot of them should be kept to themselves, enjoy the month of October. It's not only Italian Heritage Month, it's also Latino Heritage Month. So there's a lot to celebrate. And let's be proud of where we're from. And again, Mayor, Council, Mary Ann, Paul, Chief, congratulations and thank you to all of you. Thank you very much.
Our anthem technician is JP, the son of our Commissioner of the Board of Education, Mary Ann.
I want to thank everyone for coming this morning and that it wasn't a robbery of your time. And it's a beautiful day as well, so I really wish you the best today, this Columbus Day weekend. And thank you again. I do have cannolis, so please stay put. You can have one if you're good. And they came from Aroma di Napoli in Nutley. Okay? All right, thank you everyone. Have a great day.
Though not a requirement, we invite all the amazing Italian cooks to drop off an Italian dish in honor of Italian Heritage Month at the mayor's office throughout the week. We'll be open Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 p.m. But if you want to bring it a little later, me and Mary Ann Percy will stay there till 6, 7, or whatever time you're going to bring the dish. Just bring it by. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.